The grand revolving doors of the majestic crown. Hotel spun slowly as guests in tailored suits and glittering gowns floated through like royalty. It was the weekend of the annual Global Business and Innovation Summit, where millionaires, CEOs, and rising entrepreneurs came to flex their wealth and ideas. Inside the golden-lit lobby, marble floors gleamed beneath chandeliers that hung like frozen waterfalls. Every detail screamed luxury. Behind the reception desk, the staff smiled with trained perfection, their posture straight, their tone polished. But as the tall, dark-skinned young man in a faded hoodie and scuffed sneakers stepped forward to the counter, the air seemed to shift. Conversations quieted. Glances turned sharp. A pair of wealthy teenagers whispered and chuckled from the corner, one nudging the other. "Yo, who let the delivery guy in here?" The receptionist, Miss Clara, with her perfect bun and diamond pin, forced a brittle smile. Excuse me, sir," she said, voice dripping with politeness that barely masked her irritation. "The staff entrance is that way," she pointed discreetly, toward the service hallway. The boy didn't flinch. He simply placed his small backpack on the marble counter and said calmly, "I have a reservation." She blinked, her smile cracking. "A reservation," she repeated, as if the word didn't belong to someone like him. "May I have your name?" "Kendrick Miles," he replied. "Booked under K. Miles." Clara's fingers hesitated on the keyboard. She typed slowly, frowning at the screen, expecting to find nothing. But then her expression changed. Her eyes widened slightly, then narrowed. The system showed presidential penthouse suite. She looked up again, her tone faltering. "Mr. Miles, the presidential suite?" Kendrick nodded, silent. Behind him, laughter bubbled from the lobby lounge. A group of young men in designer suits, sons of CEOs, known for their arrogance, watched with smirks. One whispered loud enough to be heard, "Maybe he works for whoever booked it." Another added, "Yeah, probably cleaning it for the real guest." Their mockery drew more giggles. Kendrick ignored them, his deep brown eyes calm but unreadable. Clara hesitated again, her instincts warring with her training. "Sir, I'll need to see some identification," she stammered. Kendrick slid his ID across the counter along with a sleek black card, embossed with gold letters, Miles Enterprises Global. The gold shimmer caught the light. Clara froze. She'd seen that card before, only once, used by elite members with black tier status. The kind who could buy a hotel suite just to hold a 10-minute meeting. "Oh," she breathed. "My apologies, Mr. Miles, please. One moment while I confirm your suite," as she typed. Her earlier disdain melted into nervous efficiency. The boys nearby, realizing something had shifted, leaned forward, confused. "Wait, what's going on?" one muttered. Clara cleared her throat. "Mr. Miles, we're honored to have you here. Your suite is ready, the best in the hotel. Would you like a personal escort to the elevator?" Kendrick tilted his head slightly, then smiled. "I'll find my balance first," he said. Clara frowned, unsure what he meant. "Excuse me, sir." Kendrick unzipped his backpack, pulled out a worn leather journal, and opened it to a page filled with numbers, sketches, and notes. "Balance," he said softly, almost to himself. "It's the key to everything." Before anyone could respond, a loud voice echoed from the elevator lobby. "Kendrick Miles?" "Is that the Kendrick Miles?" All heads turned. A man in a navy blue suit, bald and confident, strode over with outstretched arms. It was Mr. Donovan Chase, CEO of Chase Innovations, the man everyone at the summit wanted to meet. Clara's eyes nearly popped from her head. "Donovan, my brother!" Kendrick greeted him, smiling wide. The room fell silent. The mockers froze mid-laugh. "You made it," Donovan said, clapping Kendrick's shoulder. "The board's been waiting for your pitch. Everyone's dying to see your prototype." Clara blinked rapidly, her mind spinning. Prototype? Pitch? She suddenly realized this young man wasn't a random guest or staff member. He was the keynote innovator, Kendrick Miles, the 27-year-old tech genius who had built balance-based AI systems that revolutionized automated architecture. The same man Forbes had called the mind that's redefining stability. The same man who had grown up in the South Bronx, often mocked for his skin, his clothes, his accent, but who now owned patents worth millions. The group of arrogant boys who had mocked him now stood pale and speechless. One of them whispered, "No way." Donovan grinned. "Let's head up, man. I told the chairman you'd be here tonight. He wants to discuss merging your platform with our expansion project." Kendrick nodded, then turned to Clara. "You said you'd give the best suite. If I had balance, right?" She stammered, remembering her own earlier words. "Yes, sir, of course." He smiled kindly. "I do have balance," he said, tapping his chest. "Not in my account, but in my soul. That's what built everything I have." The words hung in the air like quiet thunder. Then turning toward the mocking group, he said evenly, "Never mock someone for how they walk in. You never know where they've been or where they're headed." The elevator doors opened, golden light spilling out. As he stepped inside with Donovan, the room fell into reverent silence. The mockers looked down, ashamed. Clara straightened her uniform, her voice trembling as she whispered, "Enjoy your stay." "Mr. Miles," Kendrick turned just before the doors closed. "I will," he said. "And maybe next time you'll see balance before you see color." The doors slid shut, leaving behind a lobby that buzzed with stunned whispers. Upstairs, in the penthouse suite, the night view of the city shimmered like a sea of diamonds. Kendrick stood before the glass wall, hands in his pockets, reflecting. The memories of mockery, of janitors who ignored him, teachers who doubted him, employers who looked through him, flooded back. But instead of bitterness, he felt peace. Every insult had been a step. Every rejection had been a lesson in balance, never falling too far into anger or pride. Donovan poured 2 glasses of sparkling water and handed one over. "They mocked you downstairs, huh?" Kendrick chuckled softly. "They did. But they taught me something without knowing it." "What's that?" "People lose balance when they measure worth with appearance." Donovan smiled, lifting his glass. "To balance, then." "To balance," Kendrick echoed, raising his. Below them, the city roared with life. Inside, the boy they mocked for looking poor stood as one of the most powerful innovators of his generation. And yet, his calm, steady eyes carried no vengeance, only wisdom. Because he knew, in a world obsessed with showing off wealth, true luxury is keeping your balance when they push you down. The Royal Crest Hotel sparkled under the golden sunset, its glass walls glimmering like a monument of privilege. Luxury cars lined the entrance, and guests dressed in designer suits flowed in and out as if the marble floor itself belonged only to those with status. In the middle of that grand lobby stood a young black boy, his sneakers dusty, his backpack worn, and his face calm despite the eyes that silently judged him. His name was Malik Turner, just 21, and he had walked through more storms than any of them could imagine. He approached the front desk, where a man in a sharp uniform greeted him with a thin smile. "Good evening, sir. May I help you?" Malik smiled politely. "Yes, I have a reservation, the presidential suite under Malik Turner." The man blinked, then laughed softly as though Malik had told a joke. "The presidential suite?" He leaned toward his co-worker, a blonde woman who covered her smirk. "Sir, that room is $15,000 per night." "Are you sure you meant that?" A few guests nearby turned to stare. A businessman in a Rolex chuckled, whispering to his wife, "Maybe he's lost." Malik didn't react. He simply nodded. "Yes, that's the one I booked." The woman behind the counter folded her arms. "Of course," she said with fake sweetness. "We'll just need to verify your balance." "Mr. Turner." The word balance hung in the air like poison, drawing quiet laughter from a few onlookers. Malik opened his wallet and handed her a sleek black card. She rolled her eyes. "I've seen these replicas before," she muttered, swiping it dramatically. The terminal beeped, approved. Her smile froze. She tried again, approved, again, approved. The manager, Mr. Langford, hurried over, confusion on his face. "What seems to be the issue?" The woman stammered, It went through, sir." Langford studied Malik with skepticism. "You're staying in the presidential suite?" "That's what I said," Malik replied calmly. "Would you like to see the confirmation?" He pulled a gold-embossed letter from his bag. Langford unfolded it. The signature at the bottom made his blood run cold. Henry Wallace, the CEO and owner of Royal Crest. The letter stated that Malik Turner was a special guest of the board and should be treated with the highest priority. The laughter in the lobby died instantly. Langford's face turned pale. "Mr. Turner, please forgive us. We didn't realize—" Malik interrupted softly. "You didn't need to realize who I was to treat me with respect." The words hit harder than a shout. The silence that followed was heavier than gold. Langford bowed slightly. "Right away, sir." "Your suite is ready." Malik nodded. "Good." He picked up his backpack, the only luggage he carried, and followed the bellhop into the elevator. As the doors closed, the crowd whispered, "Who is he? Did he really book that room? He must be someone big." But Malik wasn't listening. In the reflection of the elevator's mirrored wall, he saw not a billionaire, not a guest of honor, just a boy who had once been homeless, sleeping on park benches, dreaming of creating something that mattered. The suite on the top floor was a world of glass and gold, chandeliers like falling stars, a view that swallowed the entire city, and a bed that could fit a family. Malik walked in quietly, ran his fingers across the polished desk, and whispered to himself, "So this is balance." He wasn't impressed by the luxury. He had seen beauty and struggle, the kind of beauty that comes when your dreams are all you have. Downstairs, the staff couldn't stop talking. The woman at the desk typed his name into Google. The results made her jaw drop. "Oh my God," she whispered. "He's the CEO of Skyline Technologies." Chad, her co-worker, leaned closer. "Wait, the company that powers our reservation system?" She nodded slowly. "Yes, our system literally runs on his software." Langford overheard and went pale again. "He's the youngest black tech billionaire in the country," she added in disbelief. "He owns part of this hotel's digital infrastructure." The next morning, Malik came down for breakfast. The staff scrambled to greet him. "Good morning, Mr. Turner," Langford said nervously. "I trust everything was perfect." Malik smiled slightly. "It was fine, but I noticed something." Langford's throat tightened. "Oh," Malik's tone was calm but sharp. "Yesterday, when I checked in, everyone here talked about offering the best suite to those who have balance. You should know, balance isn't about money. It's about how you treat people when you think they don't have any." The words struck deep. Tiffany looked down at her shoes. Chad shifted uncomfortably. Langford swallowed hard. Malik continued, "See, I built my company from nothing. I've been laughed at, doubted, and ignored by people just like you. So I created something that measures what no computer ever could. Human decency." He paused. "Royal Crest was on my list for acquisition. Yesterday was your test." Langford's eyes widened. "Acquisition? Test?" Malik nodded. "My company owns a controlling stake in the network you use. I came unannounced to see how your staff treats people without status. And you failed." The silence was suffocating. Langford tried to speak. "Mr. Turner, please." Malik raised a hand. "I'm not here for revenge. I'm here to remind you that every guest, rich or poor, deserves dignity. Because the real measure of balance isn't in your account. It's in your character." He pulled a check from his pocket, signed it and slid it across the counter. Langford looked at the number and nearly fell backward. This is a donation?" Malik nodded. "For staff training. Teach them to look at hearts, not shoes." He turned to leave. "And next time someone walks in who looks like me, remember this moment." The staff stood frozen, unable to respond. The same boy they mocked had just given them a second chance and funded their improvement. Malik walked through the lobby without a sound, the morning light shining on his face like quiet victory. Outside, his driver opened the door to a sleek Rolls-Royce Phantom. Malik looked back at the Grand Hotel one last time. "Balance," he said softly. "Not in the bank, in the soul." The car pulled away, leaving behind stunned faces and a story that would echo through every hallway of the Royal Crest, a reminder that the ones you mock for having nothing are often the ones who built everything you stand on.